I'm really into the whole Davidic reptilian culture, and many stories about encounters with reptilians or videos of reptilians are exaggerated or fake, at best. This whole idea gets met with a lot of criticism, but, moreover, has anyone else seen a reptilian? Because I saw one just about a year ago, and I swear to God my whole view on conspiracy theories has changed because of it. I was depressed after my recent girlfriend broke up with me. It turns out she was cheating on me, the bitch, so I went to the bar to drown my sorrows in alcohol and get a girl to have sex with me. And, what do you know, it turns out that a girl was actually coming onto me. She was a beautiful blonde that looked kinda like that hot girl from Starship Troopers with the wavy hair, only without the wavy hair, and her body. Fuck, her tits alone were fucking beautiful. They weren't giant or anything, like a middle C cup or something, and they did seem to have that kind overly symmetrical roundness to it that were a clear indication of implants. But I didn't give a fuck, and through my beer goggles I was ready to go, Jack. Her hands were a little big, but whatever, I'm alright with that. I thought there was something off about her, something reptilian, to sound cliché. When I stared into her eyes, her beautiful, seductive eyes, there were a few very instantaneous moments when I saw blackness. Just like this encroaching abyss that was sucking me in for a few seconds. That almost seemed like it was telling my soul that there was this darkness inside what you're looking at and should stay away from at all costs. But, I was already pretty buzzed, and it was only for half a second anyways, so I was like, fuck it. Anyways, we were really hitting it off, we were buying each other drinks. And I kinda noticed I was drinking all of the ones I got, but she wasn't drinking much at all, so I was starting to get ripped, but she was still keeping a very manageable buzz going. Then the night took a turn for the worse, and I swear to God it's the most horrifying thing that ever happened to me. She bought me one final drink, a Rolls Royce, 'cause that's just how I roll, and I went to the bathroom before I came back to get it. But when I came back it looked kinda funky. It wasn't really noticeable at first glance, and I was filled with alcohol to the point where I didn't care. But now I know for a fact that the reptilian conduofied me. I recall immediately after drinking it that she started coming on with the sex shit, and offered to take me to her place, which was, conveniently, very close to the bar. I said okay, and, as we were walking to her car, the effects of the roofie started to become apparent, and I started to lose my balance and my memory was becoming foggy. I remember I stumbled into her accidentally, right when we were at her car, and this was the last thing I remember before everything became a complete blur. But I bumped into her and my hand hit her crotch, and I felt almost like a little hole between her panties, her tail no doubt, and when I looked into her eyes, I swear to God, they looked like lizard slits. What followed was a blur with only a few faint images and sound bites. I remember I was laying on the ground, and I heard this masculine grunting behind me, and I recall looking to the side and seeing a very large amount of makeup and dresses. A very large amount. I mean, I know how women are with their makeup and clothes, but this was insane even for a woman as beautiful as her. I mean, why would such a beautiful woman even need that much makeup? Then it hit me, she hadn't yet mastered the reptilian human transformation, so she had to use a lot of makeup to cover up her reptilian traits. Then I looked into the mirror, and this was when I realized that David Icke was completely right, and I was never going to laugh off anything Alex Jones said again. or anything that gets labeled as pseudoscience, because this just opened my eyes to how much of a shroud we all live behind. You might say this was just a result of the Rovi and the alcohol, but I know what I saw and how I felt when I saw it. I saw an 8-foot-tall reptilian alien kneeling behind me. I came to the next day at, like, 3 or 4 p.m. I think. My whole body was aching like it does when you take a sleeping pill and you only end up sleeping 4 or 5 hours instead of the 8 or 10 that the pill makes you sleep, only that feeling was multiplied. And my ass was covered in dried shit, a clear indicator that something happened during the night that made me shit my pants. My clothes were clean, though, so I'm thankful for whatever that reptilian cunt did to me. She took my clothes off first. It wasn't until I got home that I realized my ass had been hurting this whole time. I was just far too horrified and confused by everything that had happened to realize it. I feared immediately that I had been probed, or that I had prostate cancer, so I scheduled an appointment with my doctor to get my prostate checked. And no cancer or probing or anything. So, aside from some mild discomfort and some emotional problems that have since surfaced, I managed to get out of this encounter with a reptilian unscathed. I still don't know what that interdimensional alien fuck did to me, and that thought is what keeps me up at night. The ideas, the theories, the possibilities. It scares me and, at times, leaves me unable to sleep. The biggest fear is that they injected me with some sort of substance that's going to slowly turn me into what traumatized me. Like a vampire bites its victims to turn them. What she did to me is going to turn me into her. Anyways, I was hoping I could get some insight and get some other stories about the times you've seen a reptilian. And maybe some of you experts could get some ideas and figure out just what happened to me that night.